Europe today has over 40 countries covering more than 10 million square kilometers. It's home to hundreds of millions of people connected by roads, railways, and the internet. But before written history, before cities, kings, or even farms, what was this land like? Who lived here? And how did the land and the people shape each other for tens of thousands of years? Chapter 1 of the book Europe let us travel back to a Europe without borders, a Europe before history. About 45,000 years ago, modern humans, Homo sapiens like us, stepped into Europe for the first time. They came from the Middle East, following river valleys like the Danube and skirting the Black Sea, moving west and north in search of game. But the Europe they entered looked nothing like today. In the far north, what is now Scandinavia, Finland, and large parts of the British Isles were buried under ice sheets over 2 kilometers thick, a frozen wall stretching from the Atlantic to the Urals. Even Germany, Poland, and northern France were locked in permafrost and tundra, with only the hardest plants clinging to life. South of the ice, open grasslands stretched from Spain to Ukraine, dotted with mammoths, reindeer, and wild horses. Sea levels were far lower, revealing Doggerland, a vast, fertile plain where the North Sea now lies, connecting Britain to the mainland Europe. Here, humans hunted, fished, and built temporary camps. In southern Europe, small bands of hunter-gatherers lived on the edge of this frozen world. Around 20,000 years ago, the climate began to warm. Glaciers shrank, rivers swelled, and the tundra gave way to birch and pine forests. As the ice retreated, people followed, adapting their hunting to new animals like red deer and wild boar. In places like Lascaux Cave in France, earlier artists painted breathtaking images of herds of horses, mighty aurochs, leaping deer, and mysterious symbols. This was their way of keeping these animals alive in memory. Around 12,000 years ago, the Ice Age began to loosen its grip. The great ice sheets over Scandinavia and northern Britain shrank back, releasing torrents of meltwater into swelling rivers. Grassy plains gave way to birch and pine forests, and reindeer herds moved north, followed by the people who hunted them. But the rising temperatures came with a cost. Sea levels rose rapidly. Doggerland, once Europe's green heartland, slowly drowned. Generations watched familiar hunting grounds vanish beneath the waves until around 8,000 years ago, only the open sea remained. By 7,000 years ago, a new way of life arrived from the east and the southeast: farming. From Anatolia and the Balkans, earlier farmers brought wheat, barley, sheep, and goats, traveling along the Danube and across the Mediterranean coasts. They cut clearings in Europe's forests, built permanent houses, and shaped the land with fields and pastures. Villages grew near rivers, pottery appeared in kitchens, and life began to follow the rhyme of sowing and harvests. This shift, known as the Neolithic Revolution, transformed Europe forever, replacing a world of constant movement with one rooted in place. As farming communities flourished, people began raising massive stone monuments. In Brittany, Ireland, and Britain, great tombs and stone circles appeared between 5,000 and 4,000 years ago. These megaliths, like Stonehenge, aligned with the sun and the moon, perhaps marking seasonal rituals or serving as secret meeting places. The stones still stand today, silent but powerful, linking us to the beliefs and the gatherings of those early Europeans. From a land of ice and roaming herds to forests, farms, and bustling trade routes, Europe's prehistory is the story of people and land changing together. Every river bend, Every submerged plane, every standing stone holds a memory of that journey. And the next time you walk a forest trail or stand by the shore, you might just be standing where a mammoth roamed or where the waves once lapped at the edges of Doggerland.